Welcome to In the Know with Steph and Joe. In the Know with Steph and Joe is all about small business development. These two entrepreneurs bring real-life experience, laughter, and, well, just a ton of knowledge on how to build your small business and make it thrive. After all, this is your creation. Now learn how to make it sing. In the Know with Steph and Joe airs Fridays at 3 p.m. right here on 216 The Net. Like, follow Steph's books and Restoration One of Cary, along with 216 The Net on Facebook, and subscribe to the 216 The Net YouTube channel.
I never pictured you with a fat head.
Fat head.
Oh,
that's it. Welcome in the Know with Steph and Joe. Listen.
Now we're in the know on Ken's fat head.
Yeah, now you're in the know. Digging too many holes, too many ideas. Which one do you go down? Do you chase a rabbit? Are you Alice in Wonderland? I don't know. But a big shout out to our good friends over at Steph's Bookkeeping. Yeah, if you need your books kept, go to Steph's.
She's got you.
And she's got you. And, of course, our good friends over at Restoration One of Cary. If you need to be restored, they're the ones to do it.
She's got you.
Yep.
Cary. Cary's got you.
That's it.
Yeah, not me. So the other way that I look at too many holes is also like a lot of people look at it as pans in the fire, right? Skillets in the fire.
Spinning too many dishes.
Cooks, too many chefs in the kitchen, not enough cooks.
Right.
However you want to say it, right? That's kind of what we're looking at, right? Going out and really, no, hang on. And now I correct myself.
Rewind, come back.
I really don't like that because digging too many holes is more about your ventures you're going out and doing, whereas chefs in the kitchen is a lot. Well, that's a lot of
opinions,
employees or humans that all have an opinion.
No, because if you're the chef, you're the head chef.
Yeah, but that's chefs in the kitchen.
Yeah, but any of your employees would always be like a sous chef.
It doesn't matter. Sometimes people hire, there were times when our company had too many chefs in the kitchen. Every chef had their opinion on how steak was supposed to be cooked, and therefore we could not cook a steak because we could not agree. And that's not digging too many holes. That's different to me.
Yes, I agree. That is different.
So we're on the same page that this is more ideas of you as an owner saying, I want to go down this route.
Right. And
then everybody follows. I want to go down this route. Everybody follows. I want to go down this route. Everybody follows.
You never really get to the end of that.
It's just like basically when you have too many holes dug out, you have too many things going into too many different directions, whether it's like ideas to progress like the business, ideas to increase like internal culture, ideas for this, and you're trying to implement them all at the same time, and then it's going to weaken your base structure of your floor, and eventually all those holes are going to cause it to fall out.
Love that.
Yes, audience?
Yeah.
Green room.
The story that this topic brought to mind was I had a regional manager when I was in the banking industry, and I had a regional manager, and he would come in on a Friday and say, hey, here's what we need you to do. A. I'm like, oh, okay. So then I start doing A. Next Friday, he comes in and he goes, why are you doing this? You should be doing C. And you're like, what? Oh, okay.
Wait a minute.
So now I go, and the team, we all go down to C. And the next Friday he comes in and goes, well, why are you doing that? You should be doing B. And you're like, wait, what? Because, and that to me is too many holes, right?
So is he chasing? Okay, that's where you have to understand your industry and say, am I chasing pipe dreams? Are they pipe dreams? Like everybody's got it. Am I chasing shiny lures?
Right.
Am I chasing squirrels? Am I chasing, a pipe dream? And what am I doing? Right. It's clearly skillets in the fire is a good one. Too many chefs in the kitchen is not a good one analogy for this, right? Because that's too many humans saying this is what needs to be done. Here we're talking one human says this needs to be done, and they change what needs to be done every single
All the
time.
Yeah. I
Right?
mean, that's one option. Yeah.
What's the other option?
Well, you as the owner, like, have just too many. Like, for example, at the beginning of
That's
this
what
year,
I was saying actually right now.
right? But like I'm not telling my team they have to follow me down these holes. I have to, like, at the beginning of this year, we were moving out of our current location, moving into a new building. We were in the middle of renovating a building. I was hiring more staff. I was trying to buy a firm. I was trying to maintain the book of business that we have. And then, like, and this is all kind of in the middle of the football time for, like, our Super Bowl season of tax season, because it's January.
Yep.
So, like,
I
there
get what
was
you're
like
saying.
so many things going on that I'm trying to assist all these people and keep all of these things moving, that I started to lose sight on some of the stuff. Like for example, in January, I was walking around. So, like, at the end of January going into February, I was walking around and I was just pissed off in the office. Like, I was in a bad mood and I was pissed off because I felt like we were bleeding money, we're not making any money, and all of these things, because I was so far removed from the financials for a month. And then when Rich sat me down, we had
And explained it?
well, no, when he sat me down and sent me, like, a screenshot of our numbers, we had, like, at that time, I mean, now we've beaten it since then, but at that time we had our highest grossing month. And that probably seemed why everybody was so busy and couldn't help me with all these other things that, like,
Okay.
I took on.
So hang on. That brings up a good point. Am I allowed to put my foot on the piano?
Whatever you want to do. Buddy.
Okay, good. Hey,
It's your show.
the
It's
talent
your
does.
show, bro.
The talent does what the talent
That's
does.
right. It's your show.
So I just trying to be comfortable here because I'm getting really into this topic right now. So when you did this change in January and you knew you were taking a change and you knew January come 3-4 months later, you're going to be in your shit show of an industry, right? Was that the proper time to take that jump?
Well, when was I going to take it? This opportunity arose and I had to strike. Like, the building wasn't going to be on the market forever.
So I understand that. And I agreed with you.
Right. I mean,
at the time, we
it
talked
was just,
about it.
Right. It was just right place, right time, you know.
So you
right
know
price.
going in, but you knew going in that you had to deal with, you normally can handle 7 skillets in the fire.
Mm.
But come this, 2024 tax season, you're going to have 12 skillets in the fire because you're making this move at this moment. And you knew that.
Right. No, yeah. It was just a culmination of all the things I was doing at the same time, between hiring and renovating a building, and then attempting to buy a firm in the middle of tax season, trying to get bank funding, trying to do all the things.
That's all I'm saying is, like, you knew.
Well, yeah, it's 100% my fault, but I'm just saying.
Thank you. Like, that's all I have to say, Your Honor.
Yeah. It's 100% my fault, but I'm just saying that none of my team during all of this chaos necessarily
thought about that.
Well, they didn't have to follow me down these holes, and I wasn't pulling them off of the stuff that they were doing, like how Kent had described in his situation. His boss was pulling him and the team into all these different things, and then nobody was able to complete said tasks and backfill the hole to maintain the structure. So there's, like, 2 different things that could happen in this scenario.
But as an owner, that's what I'm asking is, if you know going into, I understand Kent's situation. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm asking is, as an owner, you knew you were going into tax season with a purchase, with this, with that, with all the things, and you're compiling and right? And so you knew that you were going to be stressed in this situation, right?
Yeah.
That's the situation I'm explaining is you knew it and you were okay with it and you said, let's go. Gung ho.
Well, yeah, because everybody's structure of their floor is going to be built differently.
Did you know it when you were presented with this situation?
Oh, God, I got so mad at the guy. So every time that he came in, I would write an email and send it to him before he left. I go, just so we're clear, we're no longer doing this. You want us to do this. Per our conversation right now in my office. Send. because he was I'm like, and
Thank you.
He's like, oh, why aren't you getting any traction? I'm like, because every week you come in here and you tell me to do something different.
But that to me is where you understood what you were walking your people into.
Well, my people really
and
weren't
yourself into.
Yeah, I mean,
but your people were involved because the
they
less you
weren't,
can do
impacted.
because you're involved in it.
Right, they
They're
weren't
impacted.
not the same way as
you. You're right.
No, I'm saying not as me, but like in Kent's situation, like he is the one that's 100% impacted because he's the one that's asked to be
that's
doing all of these like half projects. So like if I was having my team if I was like, oh, we have this shipment coming in from Amazon for all of our paper goods and stuff for the office, you don't work on this book of business, which is billable, and go and empty this box of toilet paper, like that would be dumb as an owner. I am more than capable of emptying the box of toilet paper versus
wait, hang on, time out. I want to introduce you to something. Eli is really capable.
Yeah, he was there. He helped.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. He used a lot of the wipes.
Did you think that was too many holes? Because
post digging, was that too many holes? That's a good question. Thank you.
Yeah, because I think if my offer would have gone in for that firm and to do an acquisition of that size
at that moment,
and to onboard 40 clients while I have 2 brand new clients, my 2 brand new employees, and the 3 that I have are already kind of maxed in their book of business. Plus all this, plus, like I think I would have had a problem.
Second of all, you always have great nail game. Your nails, I was just staring at them. They're awesome.
I was going to say, is nail as in like...
Nail, like fingernails.
Nail.
She always has good fingernails.
Nail. Yeah. Sorry, I'm deaf, y'all. I thought you said mail game, and I'm like, males? Like mail?
I don't know, maybe.
But it's just...
TV didn't fall on her neck.
Hawk Tua.
It was a green room thing.
I wasn't there for that.
But yeah, so it
was just the 2 of you in private, huh? Okay.
He knows.
No.
But so I think that obviously some like them declining my offer to purchase the firm ultimately worked out to my advantage because then that gave me time to like get my structure back in place, and then now we're shopping again, and we're hopefully going to try and do it before fourth quarter.
Now, I wanna talk to Joe for a second. Do you dig too many holes? Because I mean, you've had like an RV, and you've wanted to do training and flood your basement, and
hang on. Of those 3, of the 3 that you've mentioned, I've done 2 of the 3.
Right, but
efficiently and accurately, I've done 2 of the 3. Right. The only one was not the RV, and that's not a dead nail. So that could be 3. I could be 3 of 3.
On the street, like we better roll tape back. I thought word on the street,
like get rid of that or something. Right?
Yeah,
they say we're getting rid of it, so I just go off of their word. But they're pessimists, and it's not gone yet. So.
But you understand, I mean, because your creativeness on the way, right? You're very creative. So do you
love
sometimes that
I'm ADD and creative.
Yeah.
However, I think what some people see is, or may not see, is I am very analytical. So I want to know everything about it before I grip and rip. And I may grip and rip within 5 minutes, but I've known enough about it by asking you questions, right?
You don't think you dig too many holes?
I do. However, I've also learned that my style is not conducive to being efficient unless I get people to dig the hole for me. Right? Yeah. So if I can't get somebody to dig the hole, i.e. the RV is a great example. I said I want to do the RV. We all got on the RV, but then nobody dug the hole. Well, therefore, that hole's dead.
That was not even a hole.
Well, we're moving on, right? And that's what I said before. But that being said, it's still a kind of little divot in the ground, right? Like, it's not gone. It's not. It ain't gone. It ain't gone. Thank you. I appreciate you picturing the analogy. It's like there's still like a little it's like a little crater there. And to be honest, it could be revived. But I'm not going out there. Right? It would be, if we're going really off of true analogies, this would be like ice fishing and using tip-ups.
Sure.
Okay? When I go ice fishing and I use tip-ups, I go out there and I'll auger a hole.
Yep.
Well, if I can get into that hole and I set a tip-up in that and then I walk away and the tip-up flings, well, God damn it, that's an active hole. I'm going back to that hole. And I might even put my fire pit closer to that hole because I know that that hole is active, right? And that way I want to be closer to that hole. That would be what it is. Now, if I auger a hole, I put a tip up in it, not a lot of work. I'm just, actively dripping in it and no big deal. It doesn't go off. That hole freezes over halfway through the day and no tip ups. I'm pulling that tip up and I'm letting that hole freeze over. And at some point in the winter, I might go, I might actually want to invest a little more time in that hole. And I go back to that hole, auger it out again, maybe go over a couple feet and re-auger it, right? But at some point, I'm going to go maybe reinvest in that. But for the time being, I'm going to go 5 minutes, drop a tip up. It hits, great, I'm running there. It doesn't hit, it freezes over, I'm walking away. I'm not one to spend a lot of time on it.
In the holes.
So how dangerous do you think it is? Because we've had a show and we've talked about, like percent complete.
Yeah.
And we've talked about, the acceptable variance of percent complete. At what point does it become dangerous? Like if you have 15 holes that are 80% complete, do you think that starts to become dangerous to your structure? Or do you think someone's just gonna stub a toe?
So in the same analogy, I would say that would be like me augering 80% of a hole or augering a hole and not putting the tip up in.
Right.
If I'm going to auger a hole, I'm going to do it to get the tip up and get the bait in the water.
Right. But so how dangerous do you think it would be for a small business to have all of these projects where people start doing an employee handbook in preparation of getting employees, or they start doing their SOP manual,
It depends.
Or they start, reviewing numbers, or there's all these different things as business owners that we have 5 minutes of time to start doing in preparation for the next phase of the business. And we've all been guilty of it, where it's not finished and then it gets finished in real time as these new problems are arising with people standing in front of you.
So good question. Here's my thought process. My mindset is always to focus on the customer, the client. So if I have a customer client and I can't process the service work completely and efficiently, that would be my main skillet.
Right. But if your house isn't in order, how do you...
That's the house.
Right. Well, not really, because your team, your front line is going to service that customer.
Totally. So
and if you don't have your house in order,
that's what I meant.
They can't complete said task.
If I can't do the service work,
right,
I need to approach that first. So that's the first skillet.
So that means that
That's
Carrie would
pouring oil into a scalding hot pan and going, that'll be good.
Well, it's you and Carrie then would
immediately add something. You got to immediately start cooking with that pan.
Right. So then at that point, you and Carrie would step in to get the job completed to then fix the internals after that's done.
Service is service is service. If you can't service correctly, you got to fix it. Now, I have a lot of people in my industry and a lot of other industries that will argue sales is your first thing you need to focus on. And I don't argue with that. You need to make sure that you are always doing sales and you always do sales. However, if sales goes out and gets sales and then has shitty service, what matters, right? So to me, it's chicken versus the egg. Sales versus service. What's more important for you to focus on?
Right.
To be honest, you can't have service without sales. But if you bring in sales and you have shitty service, you're not going to get more sales. So how do you weigh those two skillets, right? To me, yes, those two skillets are the two most important skillets, but you could have 4 skillets in each sales versus service, right? I could have 8 skillets total. So how much you want to do? Oh, I want to add another service. Well, that's not 8 skillets. That's the 9th and 10th skillet, right? Because now we have service for that new service and then sales for that new service. Those are 2 new skillets.
Yeah.
Right. So I really argue all the time about this, and I could have this argument all the time. Sales versus service. What's more important? What do you put on the?
We can make a whole show out of that one.
Yeah.
We don't have that on the docket, so we could make a
not on
show.
the list yet.
We got to bring some people that are salespeople.
Argue those.
and bring some
We need some.
and bring the
Really,
trenches
we're bringing
people.
Carrie in. We're bringing Carrie in because she would argue this all day long.
Okay.
So in your industries, you go to the QuickBook convention out in Vegas.
Mhm.
You go to the restoration place down in Texas, right? I don't know where you go. Anyway,
Yeah.
I just said that.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
bump into another bookkeeper and another guy or gal that runs a restoration one in another part of the country.
Mhm.
And they go, oh man, we're doing bloppity blop and we're killing it. And you guys aren't doing bloppity blop. Did you bring that whole back and go, let's give bloppity blop a try?
I guess for me, I would have to kind of know that particular industry that they potentially are working in. Or I know that a lot of the topics at QuickBooks is tech stacking, and we all do a different level of tech stacking. So we have all of our, our project management softwares, our client communication softwares, our, whatever, our proposal softwares are, so you have all these things. And if your tech stacking is working but somebody else is doing something else, and then you are intrigued. But anytime I've tried to do that, you don't know all of the ingredients to their sauce though, that make it function.
Okay.
Like you talk to them for maybe 5-10 minutes in between class, and they have that, or they have a good nugget to share during a class session. And you're like, oh, that's cool. And me, Valerie, and Melanie have all attempted to take something back out of there. And
but
then
you get jack shit.
Well,
because you don't know their details.
So for example, the file swapping. So that there was a guy that we were talking about, exit strategies. That was the class that I was in. And some guy was talking about this file swapping that he has going on as part of his plan. And hi, Marie. And so he was talking about that. Well, that sounded really cool and interesting to me, not from an exit strategy perspective, but from an efficiency perspective. So my brain went a little bit different with it. Then me, Valerie, and Melanie sat down and had a little powwow about it and tried to figure out how we could then implement it directly and work with us with adding our own sugar to the Kool-Aid.
Love
that. We
totally.
had to
totally.
I just don't think I've ever been at a convention, even though I come back with an insane amount of knowledge.
Right.
But the difference from going from year 1 to the convention and being like, oh my God, this is crazy, let's do it all, to then now being several years in to being like, all right, we need to pick our top fan favorite items that we went in there to execute.
Biggest nuggets.
Right. And then implement those, because you telling me something really cool, all these people that you meet that you tell me and Joe about for the studio and these things and the connections they have and the doors that could open for you, that's really cool, but it doesn't, it's like a whole different group of people
as you take a peek inside my hole, you're like,
but it's just,
well, it's more like, hey, I'm walking over to that hole and looking down it and going, that's not something I can dig right now.
I see what you did there.
Thank you.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you. Well, but literally, it's like I could walk over to say, oh, all right, this one guy, we did a peer group for Restoration One, and we go and talk to a bunch of other Restoration One owners that are relatively similar to us in our mindset. Maybe not revenue wise, but we're all on the same mindset, right? And so we did this past week, and one of the owners said he got in with a local college around him, right? And this college sends him loads of business. So much so that he's like gonna quadruple our business for a year.
Wow.
And I would say over half of that business is just from this college, right? And we're all like, how'd you do it?
Is it full of asbestos?
No.
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 Like, I feel
No.
like there has to be
Kids are
something
walking out with
crazy.
3 eyes.
Yeah. No. No. However, we said to him in this peer group, all of us are sitting around this peer group and we all go, great. How'd you do it? And he goes, oh, well, man, I just walked into it and I said, hey, I'm so-and-so and I want to, work with you guys and yada, yada, yada. And I was like, hang on. How'd you walk in? And he made it seem so nonchalant and like he could just walk into this place, this college, and come in and just say, oh, I just walked in. They gave me a meeting and I made sure to show up to the meeting and I showed up to the meeting. And I said, wait a minute. So you just walked in? Yeah, no. I said, so you weren't out marketing? Well, no, I was out marketing. So I went to 13 other places before that. So did you have marketing materials in your hand? Yes, I did. So you were fucking out marketing and you did not just walk into this place, right? And it took like me digging into him to figure out, and that's the point that I'm making to you guys is like some people present to you and go, oh, I just did, I just walked in and all of a sudden I got a job for $2 million. No.
Yeah.
No, you did not. It probably took a lot of work to get there.
I have to be in a consortium and all that. Anyway.
Whatever it may be.
But it's also like, so like if you were at a convention and you were talking to different R1 owners and
This
to Kent's point,
R1
they were
owner.
talking about, like that, oh, I'm killing it in this space. But like, I feel like territory is a big thing too, though. Like, because
this
in my
dude was
mind, I don't
killing it
know.
in his territory based off colleges.
Right,
and
but
that's
no,
a
I'm just
niche.
saying,
And I'm
like-
like, great, how'd you get into colleges?
Well, no, I'm saying like,
I
let's
just
say
walked
like
in.
you and Carrie were in Arizona, okay? You guys are in Arizona R1.
Okay.
So like if you're talking to an R1, and this is only in my mind because I don't really know how.
Shout
like,
out
the
my
stuff
Phoenix homies.
So if I was an R1 owner in like Florida or Louisiana where there's a much higher percentage of humidity
Hofstadters,
Then-
Louisiana.
than in Arizona, you got
Correct.
your dry heat.
You
So
cannot.
in my mind,
I love
being
that.
like a high humid environment, I'm going to potentially kill it in mold remediation because I feel like it's going to have more of an opportunity to spore and do whatever it does, or a mold-like
Growth.
substance.
Growth.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, but if I'm telling you this and you're like, oh, that's really cool, I want to break into more and do a deeper dive, I feel like your marketing dollars would be lit on fire because with Arizona being such a dry state, you just don't have all of that humidity in those attics.
So is that research? I'm so
just
shocked
saying.
that you know that because most people don't know that. To me, I've said
I've
to someone,
traveled to both states. I know that
Hang
it's
on.
very
I've
different
said
with
to-
my hair.
I've
My hair
said to-
alone will tell you.
fair enough. I've said to people, I go, in the restoration business, they've been in it for years. I say, come winter, we use heaters. We do not use dehumidifiers.
Mhm.
And people go, wait, you don't use a dehumidifier in the winter? And I go, no. All I need is the heater because the outside air is dry enough. All I have to do is heat the air, run it through the house, and then dump it out the other side.
Mhm.
And it's hot, humid air going out the other side, dry, cold air coming in. But if I heat it and duct it through the entire house and whatever, push that hot, humid air in, hot, dry air, or hot, humid air out, hot, dry air in, I can make for not using a dehumidifier. And therefore, all I have to say is many people look at your situation and go, oh, I got your solution based off their situation.
Right.
So how often do you guys go and look at somebody and say, you gave me a reason, you gave me a proof, you gave me a skillet to put on the fire, but that skillet is cast iron, and right now I can't use cast iron,
Right.
right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
That is an unseasoned pan. God damn it, I need a seasoned pan because I gotta cook shit quick right now. Right?
Gabby jumps in and says, even though it's just a walk-in, you should never be business naked. As you taught me once, Joe, be always branded. Right? So your guy,
I would never teach her to be naked.
Your guy didn't just walk in empty-handed.
He didn't just walk in off the golf course. He had his R1 full apparel head to toe on.
So to go off your
100%
iron skillet there, as a salesperson,
you like that, didn't
right?
you? Yeah.
Well, as a salesperson, it's interesting because being in sales for so long, you're always looking for that jig. You're always looking for that hook. You're always looking for that, right? So you go
way to draw the fish in.
You go to a sales seminar and somebody goes, "Hey, use this pen," and you're like, "That's it. I'm buying.
This is the new pen." One of our business partners that teach, or business advisors, they teach us, and they go, "It's called a chachi." Right?
Well,
all those stupid little chachis.
No,
he goes, it doesn't
I'm saying this is what they're using to close deals, is a special, right? So you go,
okay, fair enough, yeah.
A lot of us salespeople go home and start digging it. Oh, I got a pin like that in my backyard. Start digging a hole because we think that's going to be the special ticket.
The new thing.
But again, we don't know, okay, well, this person's dad owns the pen factory. So,
Right.
So true.
But we are always looking for salespeople are digging so many holes all the time. What's going to work? What's that one thing that makes me the multi-millions? Whereas business owners, you're like, you go dig that hole.
Salespeople are always looking for the edge, which means you're always looking for that new skillet.
Yeah.
Now, with that, finding that new skillet, the great salespeople are going to be able to find that skillet and keep it on the fire, keep it cooking, right?
Yeah.
All salespeople can find that new skillet. It's whether or not you're able to use that skillet. Because, God damn it, I've used skillets left and right all day long, right? We all have, right? We've all pulled stuff out of found somebody that had a nugget, and we go, God damn, that's a great nugget. Let me use that. And I could fry this chicken to perfection on that skillet.
Yeah.
After that, is that skillet still good?
Right.
That's the problem with sales. That's the problem with salespeople is we don't know anymore.
Right.
We use that one and go, oh, good for once. Am I still good with that? Right?
We're the hole diggers, like, it works so well, I'm going to stop using it.
I mean, literally,
this was a great hole.
Literally, salespeople are always looking for the next hole, but they're not digging into that hole.
No, they go.
So I mentioned this earlier in the show.
With you being a sales guy, though, when you decide you're going to pivot, so like if you go down this rabbit hole with this magic pen, and then you determine like it's the gel pen that's the better pen and not the ballpoint pen, do you backfill that other hole before you move on?
Never.
Or
backfill.
you just
never
leave
backfill.
Them
That's like burning a bridge. I will never backfill.
I leave it there so the horses break their fucking legs. It's just
fuck yes. Thank you.
It looks like
thank you, dude. I will let a horse break its leg.
Right?
I will let my children break a kneecap in that goddamn hole. Exactly. If that hole will bring me more money, I can replace the kneecap.
As a salesperson, I ain't got time to fill a hole in. I'll dig it and then
move on.
It's like the movie Holes. That's what. You haven't seen the Disney movie Holes? You gotta watch it. It's good.
Was that with that Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah.
See, I know who the actors are. I know what it's about.
Yeah.
Don't watch movies.
They were digging holes.
Never watch movies. So one time when I was a kid, we dug a hole, and because we were waiting for my older brother to get home, it was his buddy and my little brother and me, my older brother's buddy and my little brother. We dug a hole. It was 11.5 feet deep, and it's sand. I'm shocked this thing did not cave in on us. We dropped my little brother into the hole, and then we backed away, and dude was gone. I mean, we had to reach
11.5 feet deep.
Oh yeah, we had to reach in to pull him out. Me and my older brother's buddy. Dangerous. It was so dangerous. So on the property to this day, if you go there, we took and on the bottom of the hole, we dug it 4 feet wide. And this is actually, I'm saying this to say this. We dug it 4 feet wide, 11 and a half feet deep. We put a layer of my parents' gravel driveway, all the rocks. We just gathered a bunch of rocks and laid them all on the bottom. So the entire bottom of the hole was a flat pancake of rocks. And then as we filled it up, we kept shoving a hockey stick down the center of the sand and then filling the hole of the hockey stick with rocks. So there's like a pancake of rocks and then a shaft of rocks coming up 11 and a half feet in that one spot. After my parents moved out, the house burned down. I don't know that anybody built. It was a beautiful property. I really hope they did. But I say that to say this. Somebody once told me, you dig a hole. Digging a hole is digging a hole, right? You can dig a hole. And this is such a great analogy because you can go and dig a hole, right? That is, a foot wide, and you dig down and you go 3 feet deep and you hit water and you think, great, I got water, right? This is like sitting on the beach when you were a kid, right? Mm-hmm. Just shy of the water line. Mm-hmm. You dig into the sand and you start hitting water, right? Yeah. You need to write a book, Joe. No, I don't, Derek. All right. So you dig this hole, and while you're digging the hole, all the sand on the edge is caving in, right? Yeah. And you got to dig the hole wider. Yeah. So when we're thinking digging holes, most of us are thinking like, hey, I got this 1 foot or 2 foot wide hole, right? That I'm digging down. And so somebody once told me, and he's wise, but he just couldn't figure out who he was. And therefore he's no longer around us. But he said it, he goes, you dig down 1.5 feet, it's 2 feet wide, you dig down 2 feet, you hit water. Why the fuck wouldn't you dig that well deeper? Right? So let's say that I go out and I start marketing to the schools, right? Because somebody once said to me, hey, I'm going and getting colleges. Well, hey, I'm going to go out and get colleges. Well, I got traction on colleges. Well, why wouldn't I go get more colleges, right? And so instead of digging down and hitting water and going, I'm good, most people think, well, I just hit water. Great. I hit water in this well. I'm good. Now I'm going to go hit water over here, right? And they don't think, I need to hone this well. I need to dig this well down, widen it out, add a rock barrier around it so that way the well doesn't cave in, and really hone this well, right? I need to create an entire stove devoted to this skillet, this type of food that I cook in this skillet. So I have 12 skillets all the same, or 6 skillets all the same, right? And many people don't think of what we're doing in that manner. Right. And so that's when somebody said that to me, he goes, yo, don't think about like, oh, I hit water. Now I got to stop here and go over to this and try and dig another well to hit water. No, why not hone that well and make that well a constant producing flow of water? Yep. And if you could do that, God damn it, you're good there. Now you back out and go dig another well.
Yeah, that's good.
You like that?
Yeah, I like that.
Bam. There you go, America.
So dig a hole.
Dig a hoe?
Dig a hole.
So do you think
hoe?
Do you think now that you have like a full-blown team, it's much easier to do those wider, deeper holes versus when you were by yourself doing
I'm like
just
a tuna
one?
can. I can't go deep. I only go wide.
But like how Kent was saying earlier in the show about how his boss redirecting the team and all of that.
I love how you just took that with such stride.
But do you think that it's easier? I feel like when you're trying to do something that big and as your business is growing and you have more mouths to feed, more clients to service, more whatever, your range is going to get larger, and in order to fit everybody and keep everybody going, you would have to
get more chefs in the kitchen.
So you would have less holes dug, but bigger holes because you're
more
focusing,
consistent holes.
Because you're focusing on one thing until you.
I want my host to produce,
and then you move on, or you expand.
You need a good producing hole.
I said host to produce.
Oh, sorry.
But I just feel like, because I feel like as an owner, when you're by yourself and you're first starting and you're the guy in a truck, like,
by yourself is a very hard statement
do...
for me because I always had my wife. So let me preface it with that. I always had Carrie to be on the back end. So being by myself, guy in a truck, I've never been. Mm-hmm. I'll state that outright. I have never been a guy on a truck because I've been a guy. I've been on a truck, but my wife has always been on the back end of the business.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, I've never been, much like most people assume, the wife is doing the regular day-to-day job, career, or whatever you want to call it, right? And I'm guy on the truck that's supposed to do everything. It's never been that way. That's a big thing that I want to make sure everybody knows.
Yeah.
So when I go and dig a hole,
mm-hmm.
she's supporting me, and literally I'm like shoveling the dirt behind me, and she's behind with the bag trying to catch all the dirt that I'm throwing behind me.
Yeah.
And then she's hauling it off site, right? Like, she literally is helping me out 100% of the time.
Yeah, but I'm just saying there's only so much one or two people can produce.
Fair.
And you can only dig so deep or expand so wide with 1 to 2 people at a point. It's easier when you have a full team behind you to start focusing on these other things. Like for me, like my whole role within the company is vastly different than it was when we opened. When we opened, I was in the trenches a lot more. I was doing, all of everything.
Has your mindset of when your skillet was too full back when you started the company different from when your skillet is too full now that you're have employees to do the work, right? Like, is the difference of my plate is too full different from now versus back then?
Yeah, because I feel like I have way more like holes dug than I did back then.
Yeah, Drew, thanks for listening. Said you had me at consistent holes.
We have a lot of dirty humans here.
I feel like because
good business people.
Yeah, great business people.
Like I feel like I guess because I have client experience or like the client's experience and then this and that, and I feel like those are secured and safe because my team has that. Now I can go off and do all of these different things. Like I feel like I have more freedom to look at different ways to expand and bring everybody up together.
So you're not digging too many holes.
Tilling the land.
You are tilling the land.
I mean,
you are not digging too many holes, but occasionally you may break ground on a project and go, oop, we need to pause on this project.
I just feel like when you're digging too many holes, I feel like you're just investing so much time, and time is so valuable that you have to be selective, I feel like.
Oh, I have a great analogy. Okay, so it's like if you were to say, great.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. You're late. Mom, you're so late.
Show starts at 3.
That was Kent. That was not me, Mom. So if, let's say when you first talk about, hey, I'm digging a hole. You're going out with a shovel, a spade shovel, and your work boots, and you're actually physically jumping on the back of the shovel and digging the hole, right? Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Now, you're not. Now, if you were to start digging a hole, you're calling zoning permits, you're calling excavators, right? It's not like that's how it feels for me. Is I can't just go start digging a hole because I have to buy the property. I need to get zoning permits. I need to get, before I break ground, because breaking ground is literally just sticking a spade and a shovel and fucking digging dirt out. Yeah. Well, great. back when we were started anew, I could send a spade into the ground, and it was me and maybe one or two other people in my crew that were doing the work. Well, not a big deal. But now that I have a bunch of people and we want to go down a new venture, now I'm not shoving a spade in the ground and there's one or two people behind me. Right. No, now I'm shoving a fucking backhoe in the ground, right, with an excavator, and I need zoning permits. I need, right, like excavating permits. I need to make sure that the city agrees that what I'm doing is allowable. I need Julie to come out and tell me where the goddamn shit is under the ground, right?
Love Julie.
Well,
love Julie.
I feel like, I guess.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it makes sense, because I feel like the bigger you get and the more people you have behind you and the more success you have.
Digging a hole isn't just shoving a shovel into the ground.
Then you just have the option and the ability to afford a more aggressive either marketing plan or, just an approach to getting the hole dug.
But do you actually do that? Because does that make you hesitant to pull the trigger? Because to me,
it depends. It depends on what it is.
Love that
like
answer.
Some things, I'll go just leap right in, and we're calling 6 excavators, and we're just doing this, and we're committed to this plan. Other times, I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna dip my toe into this, and then if I don't die, then I'll bring everybody else along.
Let me crack the soil and see if the radon comes out.
Right.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So I just feel like as an owner, or even when I was in management, if I knew if I had too many, skillets in the fryer or too many holes dug, I would feel so discouraged when I'd wake up in the morning, because I have so many spinning plates or
things
holes
to do, spinning plates,
and
things
then
to
you
do.
get
Love that.
the paralysis by analysis, and then you don't know where to start and what gets priority over the 15 things that you started that you haven't put enough of a dent in them for them to start producing.
Do you feel like knowing how to operate your business would be the best function to get you through those decisions? Right? Like, if I know that, I said it before, service is huge. Many people argue sales is first. Now that's, to me, chicken versus the egg, right? But to me, most businesses are the same. You gotta have business, and you gotta be able to serve that business. Mm-hmm. So if you can't do those two, what the fuck are you doing, right? What new hole are you digging if you can't do service or sales? I think some people
get into a fight or flight, and they just start digging up the yard like a crazy dog with a bone or whatever.
Giving a dog a bone, like AC/DC,
gophers or whatever. They just start digging because they're grasping at straws to try and get something to hit. It's like when you're in Vegas and you're hot for a little bit, and then all of a sudden you're cold.
And that's what Gabby says. She says, that's exactly how I feel every day. Sometimes it's like I'm chasing my tail all the time.
So I got a friend who, not Gabby, who...
Oh, glad that she's not your friend.
Well, Gabby's a friend, but this friend is not Gabby that I'm talking about.
Oh,
thank you, jackass. So I got a friend, and they own a company, and all the time they're telling me about the new things that they're doing that are awesome. Yeah. And within... I can count it. It's probably 3 to 4 weeks. I give it 1 month is my time frame. Within 1 month, guaranteed, he's going to stop what he was doing.
He's done digging.
And to me, that's literally going surface, dirt, gone. Nope, don't like the hole. Moving on.
Yep.
Right?
Well, it's you hit a little layer of rock bed or clay, and then
clay.
You're
whatever it is.
Then you're well, shit, I'm going to go back to the dirt or sand.
This dude has literally called me and said, I started this. And then within 2 to 3 weeks, calls me again and goes, that sucks, but check this out.
That's it, baby.
Oh, I mean,
look at this skillet.
Almost without doubt. It's and I'm counting on the time that he goes out of business. So I can buy all his stuff.
So you can help ease that.
I can help ease his burden of
That's correct.
financial
This
deficit.
is just going to be amazing if he's an avid listener of the show.
He is not, guaranteed. Either way,
How do you?
I guarantee
Because
you. And not only that.
Because he tried digging different holes.
Correct. He is not listening because he does not believe in consistency. I really wish the best for this dude. I really think he could do it. But all he does is go and find the next newest thing that comes out on the market to market to our industry, right? I'm sure you hear of the next best thing in QuickBooks or the next best thing in a bookkeeping, right? Or the next best thing in banking, right? Whatever it may be, our industry, my industry, restoration industry, is constantly evolving because our industry is really only 1970s or 80s is when the industry actually started. So we're only about 40, 50 years old as an entire industry, right? Bookkeeping's been around forever. Banking's been around forever.
Jesus' time.
Yeah. The only one older than both of y'all is prostitutes. All right. So,
Right. That's biblical.
It's accurate. But all I'm saying is, like, for me, my industry is constantly changing. So many people in my industry always come back and go, hey, did you see this? Did you see that? Did you see this new piece of equipment? Did you see this new type of process? And I always am like, great. Give me like 2-3 years of it in the industry, let it build some reputation, and then I might buy into it. But I'm not going in thinking, oh, this guy's got the end all be all solution for all of restoration industry. Right. Who's coming out with that right now? Nobody. And you think there is, don't you?
No, I don't know.
No, you have no idea.
I don't really follow that.
The restoration industry?
Not to that
Thank
extent.
Thank God.
Not to that extent. But, I know what's up and coming with accounting and QuickBooks and all of the things.
Up and coming is fine.
Well,
but
no, I mean, like,
new magic juice?
Well, yeah, they're just saying like AI is going to replace all of us. So you could own a bookkeeping firm and operate your whole bookkeeping firm on AI and not need any employees and not need this and not need that. And have you asked the questions to the AI about bookkeeping and accounting?
Have you asked Mr. Japiti?
Not. It has like a ways to go for the level of accuracy.
Mr. Japiti is actually rock solid.
So, but
Mr. Japiti?
I don't know.
Chat GPT?
Oh.
GPT.
Like asking like
Gemini
for like
now.
GPT.
I've got
GPT.
Google Gemini. No, it's my
I
assistant.
I love Japiti.
Yeah, or
Mr.
like
Japiti is awesome.
like outsourcing, like a couple years ago was like a real big thing in our industry, and
Totally.
still is. But people are
taken
starting
away from
to,
service. People
are starting to move away from it because they can't. Their client retention has gone down significantly because of the ability to communicate, and also like the way we do things here as it pertains to bookkeeping and accounting is different than the way that they do things in other countries. Not saying that one person is right or wrong, but you don't know here, which is the client base you're servicing.
So here's what I've seen over and over is no matter what service industry, we all tend to move towards technology. Mm-hmm. Technology, whether it's AI or whether it's just...
You know what sucks?
Huh?
I hear rain. I hear rain on my motorcycle.
Is that rain or was that the air conditioner?
I think it's rain.
That's air conditioner, bro. I'm deaf and I can hear that's the air conditioner.
All right, I think it's rain. Yeah. I was like,
all right,
I guess we'll find out.
So you want to? So here's the thing. Clearly, we're all listening outside of the studio. So here's the thing: is most of us all play into a service or an industry or whatever, and when we do it, you're so foolish. Oh God! See. He's trying to be quiet. When we all play into a service, all I'm saying is when I play into a service or whatever, I'm trying to then build into and play into being cutting edge, right? Yeah. And cutting edge literally plays between technology and humans.
Hmm.
And it's that balance in between, right? I can go full technology and go AI as a bookkeeper, and I could really press that. And right now, you would probably build and dig a lot of clients. However, there's going to be a shift, or there's going to also be clients that don't want that technology bound. They want the service, the
It's
human
not the
bound.
technology. It's that they're saying that somebody that does not have formal accounting degree or training or accounting background can now own an accounting firm by using AI and asking it questions, which is different. Like if I am an accountant and I ask it a question, I'll know whether it's right or wrong.
Totally.
If I needed like a little bit of advice or something. I've used ChatGPT for things and whatever, and it's spat out answers. And most of the time it's pretty good and pretty accurate for the things that I've asked.
Decently, yes.
But
you still have to read it and know what the
but
fuck
I-
you're talking about.
right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
like,
yeah.
it would be like, like if I decided I wanted to own a hair salon, I don't know how to cut hair. I don't know how I get my hair cut. I know I get my hair dyed, but like, you know what I mean? Like, and then I'm just going to go and open this business. And like, I don't know how to manage the margins and product measuring. Like, I don't know I know some of the stuff that goes into it, but I don't know that. So they're saying that this AI movement can help people then develop these businesses that they have no business being business owners of.
Business. And so here's all I have to say is I have to say that if somebody understands owning a business, they can find anything they need on the internet to tell them what to do.
Oh yeah.
And that's it. So I have to argue with you in the sense of like, yes, I can go on to the internet, and if I want to own a business in haircutting, I probably could figure out all the margins. I could probably
but what happens
figure
if
out.
there's a mutiny and you lose all your staff? You can't jump in the seat and then
No, you're
cut
right.
hair.
But I'm
Like,
going to shut it down. But that's the
But like
same
that's
as like
always like my biggest fear of
Well,
like
that's your personal
having-
beliefs and your personal
like
what's important to you.
like if I can't do it with or without people, I don't really want to do it. Like because it makes me anxious to
So
give
you're
that
not
level,
a self-doer?
to give that level of control to somebody else. Like
you
I
need
can't.
other humans to do?
No, I'm saying I can't let the inmates run the asylum. Is what I'm saying.
I understand
If
that.
I can't
understand
do
that.
all
I
the
understand
components
that.
of the work, then I don't.
I get that.
Listen,
Like,
I understand that.
It like would like my anxiety level would be
Totally
through the roof.
pictured you as a self-doer.
But
So what I learned today.
Okay.
Steph is not a self-doer. Yeah, we're at that time. Look at that.
Yeah, look at that. We flew by it and I'm paying attention. Holy shit.
What did we learn today?
I learned today that Steph is not a self-doer. She does not self-heal. She's looking at Steph does self-heal. She just won't say it online. I also learned, hang on, that you two
Yes.
are not willing to do said work if said work were to fall down the shit pile. And that you guys won't own a nail salon.
I wouldn't.
Yeah,
You would?
probably right.
Yeah, thank you.
No.
Yep.
If I don't understand the industry, I have no business being
Thank
in the
you.
industry.
That's what I said. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I learned today.
Yeah.
Is that the two of you would not walk into an industry that you didn't know.
No.
I did that. Did not know restoration.
Well.
Had no clue. Walked in.
Yeah, but
So
you have
that-
but the thing is though, is like I could do an industry that I can learn, but I'm not gonna do like nails. I'm not artistic, and I'm not like I've tried to put like the gel, like I can't do that.
Oh, you want nail?
You
You
know,
got boyfriend?
Well, don't be racist.
like I can't like there's just certain things that I can't do. And I know my
Okay.
limitations of it. Like I don't have a problem learning.
I'm not artistic.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I don't have a problem learning. I just couldn't get
But
in
I
the
could run
chair
a nail
though.
salon.
I could run it. I just can't get in the chair if I had a mutiny, and I would cause me to close my business. I don't like putting myself at that level of risk.
No, I close the business down.
Yeah,
I'm all about selling.
Yeah, no, I don't
Sell,
like
sell,
that.
sell.
Yeah, exit strategy.
Like
Yep,
I don't
yep.
like that
Always have-
level of risk.
Somebody
Like
once
I want
told
it
me,
to be
and I said,
100% my choice 100% of the time.
interesting. Okay,
But
fair enough.
so up until the last 3 minutes of the show, Joe had a few jisms that I actually enjoyed for once.
Really?
Yes.
Which ones?
Your whole analogy with that your friend gave you about the digging the deeper and the wider.
Wider,
and-
digging the
and,
well,
like,
not just digging the
securing,
hole.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Love that jism.
Yeah, I liked that. And then early in the show, you said, oh God, what did you say exactly? But I said I agreed with you, which doesn't happen often.
We'll play it back. Don't worry.
so you got two. So Kent, what did you learn
Fair
today?
I'm going to get wet on the way home.
Damn it!
You know what?
You're trying hard not to agree with her on how good I am.
No, I was going to say I really like that too, because that's what I'm saying. In the world of sales, so many times it's like, hey man, it works, so I stopped doing it. Hey, I hit the water. Yeah, so we're good. Right? I went 6 feet down,
Great. Walk
right?
away.
Instead of going, why not just make a constant well, right?
Mhm.
Where the
Oh
water's
my God! You
always
got
coming.
one college. Why not go to
Right.
12 colleges?
Right.
Right. You just got one. Why not go and find all the colleges?
Yeah.
Right. Dig that well.
Yeah.
Build that well. Yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was really good. Yeah.
All right. We
And
now know.
let's see. Mom says, not always will you know how to do it, even when you Google it. I think that's the self thing you were talking
So
about.
many innuendos.
Self-doer. That's it.
So, and
Mom,
then
there's so many innuendos there.
That's it. So, hey,
Yeah.
what do we got next week?
we are doing a rerun next week.
yes.
I will be in Arizona, and Joe will be at a chamber event.
Yep.
So
Good call.
next week we will be rerunning
Fair
it up,
enough.
and
Yep.
then we'll be back at it after that.
Yep. We're going to hit the streets. We're going to go live on the streets when.
Is that next?
I don't think that's next, is it?
No.
No, I think
that's
we're gonna
after
have to-
the next
It's
one.
after.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hooray!
That's it.
Thank you, Mom.
All right.
Love you, Mom.
Get good pictures of that Volkswagen and that motorcycle. Let's go.
Oh yeah, Mom. We need pictures of the bike. Kent might trailer it back up from
That's
your
it.
house.
Talk to me. All right, listen, Promise here at 216 Creator Studios. We absolutely love you. Enjoy the weekend. Watch Sunday, of course. We've got, let me tell you something, brother, and probably on Saturday, the Rejects are going to be watching some wrestling. All right, Promise here.
Rasp.
Enjoy.
Rasp.